How to start an online business, taking action in the right order. The more thoughtfully you implement your ideas when you're starting your online business, the fewer actions you'll need to undo or redo later. It's very easy, though, to get paralyzed by fear or indecision or to be too perfectionist. So be ready to test your ideas, learn, and try again, aiming for the happy medium between planning and doing. Do put some thought into risk management and intellectual property protection, though, by being aware of the issues, examining them, and then doing what's feasible and desirable to reduce them so you're not gambling with your future and take calculated risks. You have to start, though, to be great. So commit to starting your project, spending as little as possible in the testing phases. To reach our goals in life, we need to be at the right starting point for the steps we're about to take. So where you start on the journey when setting up your online business does impact the actions that you'll take towards your desired end goals. For example, if you haven't yet worked out how to position yourself in the market, you'll need to do that first before spending money on branding and expensive designs. Being mindful of where you are right now will help you to reach your end goal faster and more effectively, because you can more properly plan how you're going to get there. Now, if you've chosen your niche and decided who you want to serve, your starting point will be different to someone who's yet to identify what product to sell. How you unpack your knowledge and skills, work out what to offer the market and who to serve is a large subject which I'm going to cover elsewhere. Here, I'm going to assume that you're ready to set up your online business and to start selling. But even then, your starting point would differ from someone who's already tested their concept. Testing the market response to your ideas is just so important. Online businesses can be set up very inexpensively, so it's easier to test your concepts first, and it's extremely important to do so. If you invest too soon in a name, branding, logo, designs and website development, etc., and haven't sorted out basics like what the market reaction to your offering might be, you may be wasting time and money. Now, as they say in Maine in the USA, when you ask for directions, you can't get there from here. This is an observation of the impossibility of travelling a direct route between many places in that state. It's got something to do with lakes and the organisation of roads in the vast rural areas of that state. Business is similar. It may be impossible to get to where you want to be from where you're currently located. The quickest route depends entirely on your starting point. Now, structuring the business. When you're at proof of concept stage, many of the decisions you make will be temporary in nature. Perhaps don't use a name that you've set your heart on yet, as everything involving names adds to your costs and incurs additional complexity. The aim during the testing phase is to spend as little as possible. However, it does depend on the business model of what you're creating. For example, if you're setting up a fashion label, the costs of branding, naming, trademarking, and design work are probably unavoidable in the testing phase. Once you've tested your concept and have a viable business opportunity to pursue, the next step is to decide on the structure for your business and to create your brand. Now, do you incorporate or not? That's the first decision, whether to form a company and trade with limited liability status or whether to operate as a sole trader. Now, it's cheaper and less complex if you don't incorporate. You could simply trade using your chosen brand name, and then later, once your revenues justify it, you could set up a limited company. But if you're not intending to use a company as your trading vehicle, then there is absolutely no need to form a company simply to claim your desired name. You see, the way to claim rights over a name is through trademarks rather than company formation. So you would trade under your desired brand name, and then once you did form a company later when you're ready, you would still be able to continue trading under the same brand name. You see, the name of the company does not have to match exactly to your brand name. And if you have trademark rights in the name, then you will be able to register a company name that's similar. On the other hand, if you do want to trade through a corporate entity, for example, in order to limit your liability, even if your profits in year one are not going to justify the cost of incorporation, then it's very cheap and quick to form a company using company formation sites online. Note, though, that your running costs will be higher than trading as a sole trader, but that might be the price you're willing to pay for limiting your liability. Now, for more information and advice about structuring your business, speak to a lawyer and an accountant. Questions that you'll need to address are your tax position and also where to locate your business if, for example, your home base is more than one country. Online business gives you the freedom to work from anywhere, so there may be advantages locating your business in a particular jurisdiction rather than in another. The position does depend, though, on how long you're going to spend in each country. Now, names and domain names, one of the earliest considerations for any business will be its trading brand name. What's not widely appreciated is that it's not possible to use whatever name you like. Just because a domain or company name is available to register doesn't mean that it may be freely used for whatever type of business you like. It's necessary to identify a suitable name that firstly can function as a trademark, secondly is legally available, meaning that someone else doesn't have rights over it. Thirdly, there's a lot to learn when it comes to naming, so I recommend taking the time to focus on the intellectual property dimension, as this is key not just to naming but to branding your business as a whole. IP is highly relevant for online businesses as there are so many copyright and trademark considerations to address in a digital business. Now, one-to-one consultancy with a lawyer tends to be expensive and actually isn't the best way, in my view, to get the information that you need on intellectual property to create your digital product or set up your online business. Instead, accessing Legally Branded Academy 2.0 gives you affordable, comprehensive information. This provides the advice that any business needs, whether at startup stage or later as it grows and develops. There are essential templates to use included, within the product, which ensures that your online business has the necessary protections. Branding is a large subject, but essentially to come up with a brand proposition that's compelling and unique involves working out your purpose, your positioning, brand, personality, values, and much more. You need to have a clear vision for your business and mission. Do take time to think strategically about how you want to position your brand in order to get noticed. Now, this might involve an ongoing process of revisiting your ideas in order to get clarity, particularly in the face of feedback from the market. So if you're thinking of engaging a designer or agency to kind of brand your business and create your logo, consider using some temporary designs initially until you're clearer about your future direction. You'll need to find a name that you're keen on and then later get help from a branding agency for designs. There are a few other key areas that you'll need to focus on when setting up your online business, such as your website and contractual documentation, which I'm going to briefly touch on now. So in terms of your website and documentation, unless you're getting a low-cost website with little functionality, do take legal advice before engaging a web designer or developer. This is especially so if your website involves complexity or you're paying what represents a substantial sum of money for you, or you have strict deadlines and timescales to meet. Or if you're engaging web developers in distant locations, sourcing them from online platforms like Elance or People Per Hour. You see, to set yourself up for success, make sure your formal agreement secures the necessary rights you need in the resulting website. Buyer beware is the law's approach. So when it comes to websites and any other software development project, the buyer has a lot more to lose than the seller if there is no agreement in place. As well as the basic contracts that any online business needs, such as terms of business, website terms, privacy policy, there may be other contracts that you need depending on your business model. So in conclusion, avoid doing things in the wrong order and your path to success will be much swifter. Some people tend to waste time and money because they commission a website, focus on branding and expensive designs before they've thoroughly thought through their product offerings and nailed their business model. Setting up an online business is relatively straightforward and cheap to do. You can have just the most basic website, and it can be up and running for very little cost. That's why it's ideal to focus your money and energy on testing the market and properly thinking through your proposition. Starting your venture on the right footing and developing your ideas correctly will enable you to get ahead far more quickly. You should get Legally Branded Academy 2.0 or an equivalent way of understanding what you're doing from an IP perspective. I can't stress how important it is to do this from the very earliest stages, because how to develop your concepts involves addressing intellectual property correctly from the outset of projects. That's the way to ensure success and a valuable business. All the best.